Hey, church family, how many of you hate to wait? What, no hands? You mean I'm the only one? Today I'd like to share with you a story about someone who was frustrated because he was in a hurry and God was not. So he decided to help God out by taking matters into his own hands. In Genesis chapter 16, verses 1 to 6, we read these words. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had not been able to bear children for him, but she had an Egyptian servant named Hagar. So Sarai said to Abram, "The Lord has prevented me from having children. Go and sleep with my servant. Perhaps I can have children through her." And Abram agreed with Sarai's proposal. So Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar the Egyptian servant and gave her to Abram as a wife. This happened 10 years after Abram had settled in the land of Canaan. So Abram had sexual relations with Hagar, and she became pregnant. But when Hagar knew she was pregnant, she began to treat her mistress Sarai with contempt. Then Sarai said to Abram, "This is all your fault. I put my servant into your arms, but now that she's pregnant, she treats me with contempt. The Lord will show who's wrong, you or me." Abram replied, "Look, she's your servant, so deal with her as you see fit." Then Sarai treated Hagar so harshly that she finally ran away. In today's passage, we read about Abram and Sarai, later, Abraham and Sarah. God had promised them a son, but it had been 10 years since they'd received that promise, and Sarai wasn't getting any younger. So they decided to take matters into their own hands because they didn't like the Lord's timetable. 10 years is a long time to wait for the fulfillment of a promise. So Sarai and Abram decided to let Sarai's servant Hagar bear a child for them. Now, if you know the rest of the story, you know that Sarah eventually did give birth in her old age, but that lack of patience led to great strife for their family and for us today. A lot of the tension in the Middle East can be traced to two people groups, the descendants of Hagar and the descendants of Sarah. Why would a godly couple choose a path of self-sufficiency? Well, like I said, 10 years is a long time to wait for the fulfillment of a promise. Maybe they thought that God could use their help, but they were wrong. I'm sure they had no shortage of what seemed to them to be good reasons for doing what they did, but they were wrong. I pray that at those times when we're in a hurry, but God is not, that we'd remember that the wisest thing we can do is to listen, to obey, and to wait upon the Lord, because His timing is perfect, and we don't want to miss His best. Amen.